Hello, viewers and my fellow technicians. I am Tech. What do we have here today? On today's video, we are going to be repairing this keypad phone that was brought to me by a client. Now, he said the phone suddenly went off and couldn't turn on, and he has some important numbers to extract from the phone. First thing I do was to check the VBAT to see if there was any current leakage, and if you check right there, there was a full shot on the VBAT. So next I had to connect it to my DC power supply to confirm the short. And once I connected to the DC power supply, there was an auto 2 amp consumption. This confirmed that this PCB was fully shorting. Now, most technicians shy away from repairing this keypad phone because of a few reasons. Clients don't really pay for such repairs except charging ports and screen repairs. But as a technician, when a client brings a phone to you and say they have important information in the phone, your mission is to make sure you try your best to let them have that information in that phone by repairing them. So we are going to be troubleshooting this phone, and at the end of the day, I hope we have to bring back the phone to life and make sure the client extracts his or her information from the phone. So I had to take out the PCB from the casing so I can get full access to the PCB, as you can see right there. All right, once the PCB was out, I realized there was a little bit of water corrosion. So first things first, I had to clean off the water corrosion around the charging port and the VBAT section before proceeding with checking. Now next I had to switch my multimeter to diode mode or diode slash booster mode, and when I check all these capacitors around the charging circuits, they were all beeping on both sides, meaning there was a full short confirmed on the PCB. So next thing to do was to spray my short powder, then try to inject voltage on the PCB. Now when I injected 1.8 volt and 2 amps, the PCB was consuming the current I set on the DC power supply, but I could not find where the short was coming from. So next I had to do was to spray again, then try to inject from another location, and also try to feel with my hands to see if I'll get any heat coming from any section from the PCB. So if you check right there, I'm injecting from the VBAT positive line and trying to feel with my hands if there's any heat coming from that section, because that's where the CPU is found. I was still trying to find out if the heat is coming from that section, because that section was heating up a little bit, so I had to be very sure before opening it. Now when I took out the bracket covering the section, I realized there was a very huge capacitor right there which was fully corroded. So it was clear to me that this could be the shorting component on the PCB. But when doing mobile phone repairs, we don't just assume, we have to troubleshoot and make sure that whatever we are doing is what we had to do. So next thing again, I have to spray the short powder on around the area that the corroded capacitor was found, then inject again through the VBAT line. If you check right there, it's the same capacitor that was corroded, that was heating up right there. So I had to zoom in a little bit for you guys to see. Now next thing to do is, once you realize there's a short and you find the short, is just to take out the capacitor. At times it's not really necessary replacing it. So once I remove the shorted capacitor, next thing to do to confirm if the PCB was okay was to check the VBAT again. Now if I check the VBAT, you realize we had a value of about forward test for about 600 and something ohms, and for the backward test or the reverse test we had about 4 something, which was practically okay. Now I hooked the PCB to the DC power supply and I had to power it on. If you take a look right there, the PCB was powering on very okay, which means we had practically solved the issue of this PCB and brought it back to life. Now, to my fellow technicians, no repair is small. Each repair increases your knowledge and ideas of troubleshooting. So don't shy away from phones or keypad phones like this because the clients don't pay. Charge a little bit, but it's going to help you increase your knowledge. So I had to put back the phone together and plug it on charge. Just so you see, it's consuming about 600 amps right there and charging. Now powering on the phone again, it came on and everything was working perfectly on this phone. Thank you guys. If you have watched so far, keep subscribing, liking the video, sharing and commenting to help my page grow. I really do appreciate your efforts so far. If you have repairs like this, you can contact us via the numbers on our profile.